Peter, what do you think of my new sunglasses?
I like them. Nice.
They are 4K video sunglasses.
It's pretty sweet.
Pretty cool. Yeah. All right. Well, let's roll some footage. So the gentleman has two central air systems here. He said the smaller of the two. Oh, it's actually 410A. A good set technician is observing his surroundings, and that says R410A right there. This one's not. You think this is recording? I hope it. Wow, you need a new hat. Did I just give you a new hat?
I just have to clean it.
Oh, it looks like you have pipe dope on there. Was Mike like dragging you around the basement when you did that tankless water heater? Yeah. I was gonna go with this a South Korean company for a tankless water heater. Samsung makes tankless water heaters.
Really?
But we did not install a Samsung South Korean brand tankless water heater. We went with it was a Bosch.
Was it the Green Star? It was
Green Therm. Green Therm. T9800i SE 199. All right, so here we are. We have a York. It's a York. It's an LX series. The customer's complaint is blowing out warm air. Okay? So this is not. This feels like it feels like ambient temperature air. And right now the ambient temperature is, I don't know, my watch is not connected to my phone anymore. Let's see, ambient temperature is, let's see, Rockville Center, 76. I guess it feels like it's 76 degrees, right? All right, so, wow, look at those old disconnect panels. It's crazy. All right, I would throw the lever down. There you go, same way like before. Perfect, excellent. You know, that's all metal too, by the way. If you touch that, you know, you could. You hear the joke? There once was a man named Crockett who put his in a socket. His wife was up, so she flipped on the switch, and Crockett went up like a rocket. All right. So first observations: we have a micro channel coil here, ladies and gentlemen. You can see the coil right there. Right, and I don't know how, but you see this little piece of rubber right there, little black rubber? Yes. I don't know how that works, but apparently.
Does that just cover the copper? Or
I don't know. It covers the bubble gum and duct tape that they use to connect the copper to the whatever coil you want to call that. All right, so let's get our 410A gauges. Oh! We have an active leak right here. There it is. Look at that. I'm going to get the camera down there and show. Get low, get low.
She's bubbling.
She's a bubbler. She's a bubbler. Forget about she's a leaker. She's blowing bubbles.
You see blowing bubbles?
Oh, did you any Latinas chicas in California?
There were a lot.
Oh, so any?
I mean, I can make up stories, but no, nothing.
Oh God, don't worry. Nana Claire's not watching. All right, so we have a leaker right there. See, and that's probably the cause. Oh, that one too. Heard a little hiss right there? A little spit right there. Oh yeah, look, she's bubbling up. Look at that. Wow, talk about easy fix today.
How do you solve that? Just better caps?
We'll use the Schrader core removal tool, and we'll do two new Schrader cores. But first, let's get the 410A gauges, right? And we'll check the pressures. Yes. The Schrader cores are in the clear case in the Veto, and obviously we need the 410A and the scale. All right, sir, let me give you a diagnosis. The system, I haven't even checked yet, but the system appears to be low on refrigerant. I hear the compressor running, the condenser fan motor is running, but the air coming out of the top of the unit is ambient temperature. It's like 77 degrees, and that's what it feels like coming out of it. Normally, when the system is running and it's removing heat from your home, it's taking out that heat and discharging it outside at the top of the fan. I know you have a mechanical background a little bit, so I'm not going to bombard you, but I'm going to give you enough so you can understand. When there are two service ports or two connections that we test the system at on the outdoor unit, they're called service ports. And they're protected by two caps. Identical almost, except in size, to a car tire. If your car is low on air, you go to the thing and you add more air, right? there's a little valve inside that you puncture when you're adding like air to a tire or refrigerant gauges, to your system. As soon as I removed the caps, they both were leaking refrigerant. Whoever was working on this last didn't notice. I'm keeping it real, because you'll notice that when you take it off, because you could hear it. But also, you also double check to check for leaks. So as soon as I took the caps off, you can actually see it visibly coming out a little bit. So that may be your only leak, but that is definitely a leak that we need to take care of. We're going to now hook up our gauges to the system. We're going to see how low the system is. But you're going to need
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to need to replace those 2 core valves. That's really an insignificant, job. But hopefully there's no other leaks. How low the system is, I don't know until we start adding. There's ways of calculating how much exactly it needs before adding and giving you the total at the end, but it's time consuming. And the way that is that we suck out what's in the system, right? And we weigh it, and then we measure how much the system should have by some calculations, and then we tell you, okay, the system needs X amount of pounds. And then we add that, and then I can tell you exactly how much the bill is going to be. But I don't know how much you need right now, and doing that process takes an hour, generally. And an hour is almost 2 pounds of refrigerant. Refrigerant is $127 a pound. You already know the labor rate, which is $225, and the Schrader cores are really nothing, a couple dollars each, is not nothing. But we'll be in the back, and hopefully that's it.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. All right, so before we start doing that, right? We're going to replace those cores, and I'm using my ACO tools, Schrader core removal tool. Okay, let's. You know how to do this?
I've seen Danny do it.
Would you like to do it, or when we do it, I'll do the first. You do the second one.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I've never.
Here we go.
I
Okay. So let's just discuss what this is in principle. Some of them are magnetic, right? But this one's not. Okay. This is the part that will connect to the Schrader core, right here, right? This sits in there, and then you plug it in there and you spin it off. But here we go. Okay, and we're going to connect it to right there. Okay, nice and snug. You don't have to go crazy. Finger tight is fine. Okay, we're going to push down into the plunger, and we're going to catch, right? See, it'll sit in there, right? So, oh, it already wants to pop out. So now I'm pushing against the plunger, and I'm spinning counterclockwise. Lefty, loosey, righty, tighty. Now watch what happens. You know why that popped out like that? Watch your head.
Well, you loosened it out.
It's out. Yeah. So now it's full pressure there. Here's a new one, Schrader core. Right. So when I unthreaded this, right now there's no more core there, so it's straight pressure. So I close the valve. Okay.
Oh.
And now I'm gonna spin this off.
It was understood why. I never understood why it was 2 pieces.
And there that is. Okay. And here's the new one. And we're going to put that in there like that. By the way, I hope these glasses work. I really do. Okay, now here comes the fun part, right? So now this is pressurized, right? So we're going to push in. If I push in, it's going to come back out again. Mm-hmm. So I'm pushing in, and as I'm pushing in, I'm spinning. Lefty, loosey, righty, tighty. So now I'm going clockwise. I'm tightening the Schrader core valve to the innards of the actual port itself. So I let it go, right? Now what I like to do next, I close the valve, take that out a little bit, and before I take this out completely or do anything else, I open that up and see if if there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't do anything. And there it is.
Cool.
We use a saliva test or, soapy water or whatever. Your mouth is closer to your finger than the thing in the truck. So we've replaced that one. So you do the next. Okay, this is a bad one. And to avoid confusion, we're just going to chuck it into the landscaping. To the abyss. Okay. Finger tight, correct. Okay. Now you'll make sure that you got to tighten up that as well. See? Okay, now push in. Okay. While you're pushing in, it's best to use 2 fingers or 2 hands. As you're pushing in, you're unthreading it. And sometimes you'll feel it. Once it releases from the threads that it was threaded into, you'll feel that little skip every time it goes around again. You know what I mean? Okay. So now, close the valve. Okay, take out your plunger. And the Schrader core should be on the end of it. And there it is. Look at that. Now, what will happen sometimes is that it won't come out.
Yeah, what do you do then?
Right? Or, no, let's say it's stuck in there. Right? Well, guess what? No, you'll have to get it out, and it'll shoot out like a missile. Right? You may have to maneuver this a little bit where it's no longer on it. And sometimes it's stuck inside here, and you'll have to open the valve. And listen, you want to, as an EPA card holder, forget about an NRI card holder. Right? As an EPA card holder, you want to minimize the introduction of ozone depleting compounds into the environment. Okay, so every little, that's why we go through a lot of steps in recovery in the reclamation of refrigerant. We want to make sure we can capture as much as we can rather than letting it into the atmosphere. Okay, so you may have to do like one of those fully open because you have to shoot out like a missile, and it will shoot out like a missile, right? If you have that Schrader core stuck in there, right? When you open that up fully up, it will shoot out. So make sure there's no one there, no animals, no nothing. And maybe if there's a pink pony that you want to shoot at, maybe have a pink pony there. Yeah. Okay, so now that's out, you can take a new Schrader core.
Can we use the red one?
Doesn't matter. I just have extras.
Do you thread it on?
Nope. It should just sit there. On some of like the Appions, they actually will grab onto it nicer. But I don't like those. I like these better. Don't worry. Okay. Okay, what are you going to do next?
I'm going to open it up.
Okay, open the valve. Good, that's that pressure, pushing that plunger all the way out. Now push in, and, yep, use a finger, and thread it in clockwise. Until you feel it, like, snug. You don't want to kill it, but nice and snug. Good. Okay, let go. Close the valve. Take the plunger out. Or loosen up a little bit, sorry. Now open that up. Okay, nothing continuously hissing?
Nope.
Good. All right, take the Schrader core removal tool off the liquid line service port, and I am going to go to the testo right here. This is the 557 that I use exclusively for R410A. You don't want to mix refrigerants with your equipment, your test equipment. I have low loss fitting hoses on here. So first it will be our low side, followed by our high side, and I'm not sending it home yet. I just want to get it on there, and I'll tell you why in a second. Okay, they're on. I'll make sure my valves are closed. See? Make sure I'm zeroed out. Now, you can tighten up the high side. Good. And let's take a look at our pressures. We're reading 191 and 191 with a temperature of 67. Temperature equals pressure. All right? So, now, we've identified a leak, leaks, plural. We've repaired those leaks. Before we did that, we made the homeowner aware of what's going on and gave him the pricing of what the repairs will be. And now we'll turn the power on and see what the pressures are like. Did it go blank? Dead battery? The power button is the opposite. Is it that one?
Yeah, I've never seen one of these done.
Alright, that sucks.
We get the wireless?
No, we need batteries.
Oh, it just takes regular AA's?
Yeah. Let's get 4 AA batteries.
Okay.
Alright, we'll place the batteries and get back at you. Okay, we have our batteries in. Peter, do the honors. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's see what that does. Let's get the scale set up on the 410A, because we're definitely going to need that. Dropping 75 on the low side, 275 on the high side. Let's take a look at our coil. Our coil looks to be looks okay, but looks to be deceiving. 265 on our high, 264 on our high, 71 on our low. We're going to add some refrigerant to this system. I love the Bilco doors, how it's protected so it doesn't get any rain in there. It's very nice and very smart. 70 and 260 on our Testo 557 digital refrigeration manifold. Peter is connecting our charging hose to our R410A 25-pound container. He's going to flip it upside down because we charge as a liquid. He's going to zero out the scale, and then he's going to bleed out the high, low, and charging hose to remove any of the air or atmosphere and or non-condensables from our hoses. Make sure they're all closed. Make sure they're all closed. They'll be closed because we're reading different. Okay, high, low, good, and our charging hose, good. And based on our pressures and temperatures, we're going to add a pound to start. That's closed, that's open, and that's open. And we're going to add a pound. We charge as a liquid with 410A. We added 2 pounds of R410A. Our low pressure is 117, 118, our high is 286. While we're letting the system balance out, I want to take a moment and I want to check my electrical compartment. I'm going to dynamically test my dual capacitor. Careful there when you removed it. Alright, it looks like someone's already been here before. We have a aftermarket third-party contactor. I doubt a Titan Pro came with the system. So Peter, remember how to dynamically test a capacitor? Okay, we have our HVAC school under load capacitor tests. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our voltage across capacitor. We're going to go to common, which is there, and we're going to go to Herm, which is there. And we have 345, 342.2, 342.2. Next, we're going to do amperage on that wire, and we have 10.9. I don't know what size this one is. I can't tell. What does that say? 60 over 5. 60 is the rated value. All right, calculate. The measurement is showing. No, we're wrong. It's calculated 84.5. What does that say? That says 80? 80 over 5?
Oh, that says 80, yeah.
Ah, sorry. So we're an 80, but it's reading 84. Well,
that's under. Isn't it under 5%?
I don't know. But let's discharge this capacitor and remove it. Okay, and let's check it. Have a needle nose? It's an 80 over 5. So it was reading 84.5?
84.5.
Okay, I just discharged the capacitor. The brown went to our Herm, the red went to common, and this one went to fan. And it passes the shake test. I don't hear nothing shaking around inside. So let's test. So we're on capacitance. We're going to go from there to there, and we have 77.4. And there's a lot of rust on here. Let's see if we can get a better reading. Nothing on there, actually. There's a lot of rust on here. 77.8.
5% of 80 is 4, right?
5% of 80 would be 4, correct.
So,
Since we're not going to probably be here for a few more years, it's probably a good idea to replace it. Let's get an 80 over 5 AMRAD. All right, so there's our 80 over 5 AMRAD dual capacitor. The brown wire went to our hermetically sealed compressor. This red pinkish wire was our common, and the other one with the white stripe was our fan. That's all bundled up there nice and neat. Peter's going to put the electrical compartment cover back on, and we'll fire her back up and let the pressures balance out and call it a day. Peter, you know what's also great about these 4K video sunglasses? He just hit his noggin on the lever for the disconnect. Peter, it's built-in PPP. I mean PPE.
oh, it's true.
PPP is the money that the federal government gave to everyone during COVID, and that's why this inflation's running around wild. But yeah, built-in PPE. Gotta love it. Smash that thumbs up button, guys. Catch you on the next one. Be well. God bless. Stay safe.